Thanks for tuning in to the Mornings with Matt Career Podcast. Today, we're joined by Patrick. Patrick is a marketing, business, and talent acquisition consultant from Montreal. When he's not leading small business advertising strategies, he's supporting clients with promotional content and recruitment. He joins us today to share his experience with entrepreneurship and building a portfolio career. If you like what you hear and want to learn more, check out our website, morningswithmattp.com. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Mornings with Matt P, or follow me, Matt Parkin, on LinkedIn. So Patrick, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I'm excited for our conversation today. So you graduated with a degree in urban planning, and you ended up in the advertising and talent advisory space. So can you share with everyone your thought process navigating that journey into your career after university?
So interestingly, I was also in marketing while I was in university. So I was doing, you might say in some way, double major at some point, but ended up with one degree, which basically qualified for both at the end of the day, because I did all the courses for business to urban planning. It's interesting because when I was at school, a lot of the things that I'm applying today at my job weren't really applied. Besides the consumer psychology behind consumer behavior and so on, everything else was not taught at school, specifically digital marketing, anything to do with production in regards of doing advertising and so on, or running ads, or even influencer marketing. If there was no such thing as influencer marketing as a word when I was still in my studies, so it was very, very hard to convincing professors into where marketing is headed. And sadly, the response I always got, it is not academic enough to apply during school. So today we have a lot of students graduating and ending up not having the skills that they need to work in this field. And that's where I come in.
That's awesome that you've kind of been able to take your learnings and pivot it in a way to help people that are following in your footsteps. And for people that are interested in building this kind of portfolio career, do you want to explain a little bit about what a portfolio career actually is, and then when you kind of decided that that was the route that you wanted to take?
Yeah, so there's many ways, like when I consult with recent graduates or even students, like the tips I give them usually involves around yes, do go and do an internship. Find an internship that will value you, will put you in a equal step with the rest of the employees, will give you equal tasks and stuff like that to really get you to learn about what's happening in the real field. But at the same time, I do encourage people who are still students, who are even still living with their parents, to possibly start a business. Having a business will put you really in the pit where you have to learn everything on your own. There is no real super help. There's some information out there on the internet and stuff, but most of the time you're just doing it day by day, and you're messing up a little bit. You're doing some errors, but you're learning from them, and then you're getting stronger and stronger as you move forward. And that is the best way to learn about the different things in the field, let's say if it's marketing, business, or so on. And then when you work for someone in a job, it makes your life much more easier because you went through so much more than what the job could have offered you from the start when you just worked at your regular 9 to 5 or office job or whatnot.
I totally agree with that. I think from my experience in the entrepreneurial space, you're getting to do marketing, sales, operations, finance, negotiating, public relations, partnerships, sponsorships. You're doing all of that. And I don't think there's a single role out there other than in the entrepreneurial space that would let you do all of that at once. And so I totally agree with you. I think that's a great learning opportunity there.
Absolutely. You do have to wear multiple hats. You do have to be able to be versatile and be able to be flexible as well with the things you are applying in your day to day. Later on, you will learn that you cannot do it all. And that's why most of the time people are like, why I'm doing this for so many years? I'm working 80 hours a week on my business. Why am I not being successful? Why am I not making any money? And most of the time, looking at myself and looking at what other people are doing, and I keep saying, well, you're wearing multiple hats. You only have a limited amount of time, you have a limited amount of energy. You do have to learn how to delegate and outsource and take that risk in hiring someone else to helping you. And there are programs out there that help you hire People, if you're a new business, there are programs for internships. There are something, I think we're very fortunate, especially here in Canada, that there are so many programs offered to helping hiring and giving a job offer to someone. And why not, utilize that to growing our business. But again, it takes a lot of organization, it takes a lot of understanding, having a plan, having a strategy, and knowing how to properly delegate and manage that so that you are optimizing your business and making sure like things are going much more faster, as because there's a lot more people working on it, so much more, a lot of input and a lot of output happening at the same time.
Absolutely. And yeah, Patrick does a lot of work in the space with connecting companies with interns and funding programs. So definitely hit him up if you're looking for some support on that side. And I know a lot of companies, right, when they're looking for support, they might turn to a consultant or a freelancer. And from the candidate point of view, if you are someone who maybe doesn't have a big idea and you don't have that idea to take and start your own company with, consulting and freelancing are great options, right? So given your experience, do you have any tips for people that are looking to potentially consider or break into the consulting or freelancing space?
Yeah, well, consultation comes with experience. So if you are just starting out and you don't have much experience, it's going to be hard for you to consult because you cannot back yourself with anything. So don't pressure yourself and saying, tomorrow I'm going to become a consultant or I'm going to go get my coaching certificate and coach right away, when you cannot back up what you're saying, right? So you do need to wait for that. Freelancing is great. At some point, it is considered a solo entrepreneur kind of job where you are marketing your own services and offering them and being able to perform. And you are going to gain some skills. And again, even if it's not like running a full business, you're still going to do some of the things, including billing people, being on top of things, and so on. My greatest tip for that is do not undervalue yourself. It happens very often that people do not know how to price their services, which is something I also offered often during consultation, is like, how do you price your services and stuff? And there's a whole equation. We may not get into it today on this conversation, but it is very important to know how to value and how to position yourself, because if you do undervalue yourself, you're just going to end up, getting exhausted and maybe probably even burn out, or just say like, this is not worth it for me. Even if that particular service or business you're offering, it's something that you're passionate about, at the end you're just going to hate it because it's just not benefiting you in any way.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. As soon as I started seeing my time as money and like pricing a dollar figure to my time, like my whole world changed now, right? If someone's like, oh, like, can I have 30, 60 minutes of your time? It's like, well, that's like, in terms of opportunity cost, that's X dollars that I could be making elsewhere. So do I value that enough to go in and do that, right? And so I think that's really important to keep in mind. I saw a post the other day from someone that was basically saying like, oh, if you're doing consulting and you're not charging at least $100 an hour, like make sure to raise your rates. And I think depending on where you are and what you're consulting on, that may or may not be good advice. But I think it's important to keep in mind, because I was talking to a buddy of mine who was worried about increasing his rates for his services. I'm like, dude, like you gotta price at a premium. You're offering a premium service. You need to make sure that your prices reflect that. So that's really helpful advice to make sure people aren't kind of undercutting or underselling themselves.
Yeah.
Shifting gears a little bit to the time management space. So you've had experience over the years balancing, full-time roles on top of side ventures. Do you have any tips on how to best manage your time in that regard?
Yeah, it is getting organized. Definitely knowing what needs to be done, planning your days, planning your time, and just being on top of things, because there are so many tips I can give to when you do job searches or you decide to open your company and so on. Yeah, obviously you have to. But the first thing, and again, from pricing to going through this route, even like when you accept a job and you get a salary and so on, it's very, very important to first and foremost to knowing what's your living costs. Like, how much is it costing you to live? Whether you have to pay rent or not, food, and so on. If you have investments and so on, so you need to like know that. Once you know that, you can no longer go below that, because if not, you're not going to survive. In today's age, we're living in a time where there's inflation. Financially, it's very hard. Also, job securities are not really there, because you might lose a job, and then what do you do? How do you bounce back? Entrepreneurship is great. Having a business is great, downfall of that is that you're not usually insured. Employment insurance is an option you could purchase and where you have to pay 100% of it when you're owning your own business. But this thing, I have to learn the hard way. When it happened to me a couple of years ago, when I was on my bike, fell, fractured my arm. I couldn't work technically anymore. I shouldn't be working. My doctor said I shouldn't be filming, editing, or doing anything because my arm is not functional. It's not going to heal. But yet I had no employment insurance. How do I keep on paying my stuff? I had no choice to go out and film and edit. I had no choice to run. I organized 2 huge events and I had to do it with a cast on my arm. And there's no choice. So there are benefits of having a job with someone. And so it's important to kind of balance it off and saying, okay, well, first of all, if I'm running my business, is it feasible? Am I being able to pay off everything? And the other thing is how viable it is. And then, when you decide to go get a job, having a full-time job or even a part-time job, if it's under underemployment, it usually comes with benefits. And even if there's no group insurance or whatnot, the basic benefit that in Canada you have is employment insurance. So if something does ever happen, at least you're secured in that sense. And you can take some time off, even from your business, because you know that there are a portion of the money that's coming in, and you can rest and say that at least I'm not going to go completely broke because I'm incapable physically now to perform anymore.
Yeah, I think that's a real good insight that a lot of people don't even consider when you're thinking about starting off on your own. And so I think being able to stay organized and be aware of that will help you then go and manage your time and be able to work accordingly with your clients and your customers and whatever you're doing. So that's some great insight. Now, if people are interested in building multiple income streams, you see all of these posts and courses online, grow your business at home, whatever. A lot of that's very, high level or super expensive courses. What are some tangible, actionable steps that, someone can take today or tomorrow to take that first step to start building out multiple income streams for themselves?
Yeah, and as I mentioned, it's very important to have that just because of security. And I do want to mention one thing, because a lot of people would say I want to have either the dream job or I want to solely be running my own company and stuff. And today's age, it's not viable to do that. You need to have multiple income streams. So to kind of balance it out and secure yourself, one of the best tips I can give to that is that if you're running your own business and they have that financial stability, even if it's paying off everything that you're doing, you may become too emotional with your money, which is going to lead you to making poor decisions in your business and stuff. And that's why if you do have a job that's full-time, even if it's full-time, but part-time hours specifically, even more if you're working from home, then you can actually allow yourself to have that multiple streams of income where you are running your business, which is driving you, which is giving you that purpose that you want to make money, or just in general make a change in the world, or even have that as their kind of your dream career in that sense, and then have a job that's going to not take too much of your time that you're good at because you gained that experience from before, so you're able to perform better. So let's say a job that's 7 hours a day or 8 hours a day, you're able to do it in under 4 hours, let's say. Then it's great because then you have the rest of your time to working on your business and having those 2 streams of income. It's very crucial again to honing in, when I come back to the previous thing I was saying, understanding how much money you need to live and stuff, because maybe you don't need to work that much during the week. I think one of the things we have here in North America, we keep on hustling, grinding to always trying to get the maximum output. You need to be working over 40 hours and so on to kind of prove yourself. At the end of the day, you realize that maybe if you're well organized and you can balance up those 2 jobs during the week, you can still have those evenings and weekends, which seems impossible. And especially when I started, a lot of people said, "Oh, you're so lucky you have your own business." I'm like, "No, you're lucky you have your 9 to 5, you have your evenings and weekends, and I don't have to worry about what's happening next." But and this is a fair warning I'm giving it to everyone. And you won't have this luxury right away. It comes with time and experience and so on. But once you've mastered and your business is running smoothly, you're able to cut down on the time and make sure you have maximum output, including getting much for your buck. Same thing when you're having a job, then you're like, okay, should I get a full-time job or part-time job is okay, it's securing me. So you can kind of make those decisions and help. So again, to recap quickly the tips, find a job that's remote. Find a job that you're good at, that's not going to bother you, that you're not going to be hindered, you still like it, and so on, and you can do it in half the time. And this way, you're able to balance out between your own business and having a full-time job or part-time.
Yeah, no, those are some great tips, and I think the point you made about maybe not necessarily having to work those extra hours is really important to keep in mind. That's something that I reflected on recently. I umpire baseball and referee hockey on the side, and a couple years ago when I didn't have a full-time job, I was doing as many games as I could, but now when I step back and reflect, it's like, wow, do I really need to be out there on the diamond every night? And so the last couple of weeks, I took a bit of a break and didn't umpire at all, and it was nice to be able to focus on other things and not need to worry about, I need to go out to the diamond and make more money, because when you're able to generate other streams, and even if some of them can be passive, then that's a bonus. So really appreciate you sharing those insights, Patrick. And that's all the time we have for today, everyone. So hope you enjoyed today's episode. Stay tuned for next week. If you enjoyed the episode, we'd love if you can leave a rating and share it with a friend. If you want to learn more, check out our website, morningswithmattp.com. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at morningswithmattp, and give me a follow on LinkedIn, Matt Parkin. Thanks again for joining us, Patrick. We'll see you next week, everyone.
Thank you.